Hey, I'm Nick, and I've talked about before how to increase your focus with pushing through hard work that requires your focus, and instead of focusing on how it may be difficult for you to keep your focus on it, you can think of it more of an exercise to build up your resilience in staying focused on a task. But today is a newer method I've found of retaining your focus or training your focus, and that I believe is just as good, if not better, than training it on the fly, like I've previously mentioned. And that would be to just read a book. And I don't even mean books about staying focused, but just the act of is just as helpful as trying to stay focused on an actual task that you need to put effort into. Now, when I say just read a book, I don't mean to read as many as you can to train your focus as much as you can, because what can end up happening is that you just speed through books and you waste your time anyway. So when I say read a book, I really mean go through it and actually understand and read the words so that you're getting the most out of your time. Now, although it doesn't need to be books specifically about increasing your focus, non-fiction books that actually have useful information in them are usually much better at practicing your focus than books about stories and fiction ones. This is because you actually need to read a non-fiction book properly to understand what it's trying to teach you or what it's trying to tell you, whereas a fiction book, more often than not, it doesn't really matter how focused you are on it, as it's just a story. Now, that may not apply to stories that are complicated and hard to understand unless you read it all cover to cover, but from my personal experience, it trains your focus a lot better to read something non-fiction, as well as the added benefit with you're actually learning something new as well. Now, a big reason why people don't read books is that they don't think they've got time for it, and I don't want to argue with whether or not that is true, but I more just want to bring up that reading is not so much about lying down and putting aside an hour to read a book. It's about what I believe is what you should focus more on is to get through a little bit throughout the day. Specifically, I get through about 5 pages every time I sit down to have something to eat. And this can replace your bad habit of checking your phone while you're eating and generally wanting to be doing something else while you're sitting down having food. And reading before bed is something that is useful for going to sleep. However, I do want to preface that if you are reading before bed and getting tired, you may not be retaining as much information from the book as you could be if you were reading earlier in the day. So yeah, overall, that's just a quick tip on how to stay focused. It's to just read a book, preferably a non-fiction book, to get you to really focus on it and to take your time with it, of course, not skim through it. And so breaking it up throughout the day to get through a little bit by little bit can help you get through the books if you're doing it a slower way than you normally would. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. I'll throw up some more videos of the channel if you want to check them out, but until then, I will see you later.